Hey, and welcome to the Dad FC Football Podcast, and we are back after the international break.
Yep, it's good to be back. Feels like ages, man.
I know, it's been a long time. Missed you.
I know.
You well?
Yeah, you spend time with your family, mate. It's boring, that bit.
I know, yeah. What have you been doing in the time?
Went to a wedding up in Scotland. Went to Graham and Emma's wedding in Scotland, which was really nice. Out by St Andrews.
Very posh.
Yeah. Stopped in this place, it's like sort of glamping place called Potting Shed, which is like I imagine it was a potting shed at one point. I don't know what that is, but it's like, kind of brick place that they've extended a bit of wooden extension on the back, and it's got like a fire pit, 2-person sort of outdoor bath. So we kind of cut a night up there away from the kids, which was nice.
Glorious.
Yeah, didn't even want to go to the wedding, just wanted to stay.
Just two nights kid-free.
That was good. And then what else have I done? Gardening this weekend. Lots of gardening stuff.
Green fingers.
Yeah, I put a bird box on the wall. Put a bug hotel.
Yeah.
Put some sort of like a bird feeder in the garden. So yeah. I tell you what I did do. So I bought a set of. I showed you those chairs. I bought a set of chairs off outdoor chairs off Facebook Marketplace earlier today. Absolute steal. Put the seats down in the Sportage to fit them in. Went in an absolute breeze. Took them out, set them up in the garden. Really nice. Anyway, it was only at lunchtime. Cracked on at work. Went to pick Freddie up. Drove to pick Freddie. Drove to get him. Picked him up from nursery. Opened the back door because I hadn't put the car seat back in. So I had to phone Kaylee and be like, "Do you mind bringing Harper and the car seats down because I can't take him back to nursery and go nuts. I don't have a car seat." So yeah, I had an absolute shocker there. But Kaylee's like furious. But I did FaceTime it with him, like sat next to me, like, "Oh, look where we are. We're in the back seat.
Yeah.
You need a car seat." And she's like, "Yeah, let me off."
I was like the safety blanket having Freddie on the first time.
Yeah. He was just jumping around the car, like being like, "Oh, what does this do? What does that do?" Like pressing buttons and
smart.
But yeah, that was it. Busy. What about you? You've been up to much?
We went down to Southampton.
Oh yeah.
And flew
Ralph.
See Ralph. I called in to see Ralph and some free kick practice with him, Ward Prowse. And after that, we went to Pig World.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
good.
Oh, the rides, white knuckle rides. Yeah.
Just like.
Yeah. So we had 3 nights down there, which is good. So we got to go to see a petting zoo down there. Went to the Titanic Museum. Yeah. That was interesting. Jack was a little bit bored. There's only so many times you can look at pictures of the Titanic in black and white photos.
Which should be none for a 2-year-old.
Yeah. 0 times. No, but Pig World was good. And the last 2 years, I work in sales, so I'm always around people. Went to St James's Park, nights out, Euros. Managed to sidestep COVID for 2 years.
Even when I had it.
Even when you got it. My wife had it. And obviously had to live with her while she had it. Managed to sidestep COVID for 2 years and picked up COVID in all places of Pepper Pig World. The pigs got us.
They got you, mate.
Pepper and George, I reckon.
Yeah.
Well, apart from that, mate.
Feeling better?
Yeah. Bit of a cough lingering, but we'll soldier on for the pod.
We'll power through, mate.
Yeah. Should we do this?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Let's start at Stamford Bridge.
Yep.
Chelsea 1, Brentford 4. Chelsea have come into this game on the back of 6 wins, and I think this game must have spoiled a lot of people's bets for the weekend. And I looked at this and thought it was a straightforward win for Chelsea, and I never saw this being anything but a Chelsea win, especially based on the form of them. And we've obviously watched them quite a lot, and especially with the Newcastle game. Chelsea being a form team.
I think they've been a form team with results, but actually, I think it's been coming this. If you think back to Newcastle, they really did steal 3 points from Newcastle, really. I mean, the penalty and even the red card aside, just the penalty and obviously a late great goal to win it. But even the Norwich game, Norwich had chances were in that game. Yeah. Burnley, they battered Burnley 4-0, but Burnley could have been 2-3-0 up the first half.
You're right, yeah, the first half.
Every game, the last 3 games they've won in the Premier League have been against, certainly we can't right now, bottom 5 sides. Yeah. And each game, there could have easily been behind.
Fair point.
So I think they've been, on paper, results-wise, they've been doing right, but there's something rotten in Denmark at Chelsea in terms of like Tuchel's not getting it right at the minute. I don't know what it is.
Well, there's obviously all the stuff going on with the takeover.
Yeah.
Excuse me, the takeover. And then I heard on this week that Tuchel's wife's just filed for divorce this past week as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there's obviously a lot going on behind the scenes for him personally and also the club.
And then you had that your big summer signing, Lukaku's just don't do anything. I mean, last year's big summer signing, Havertz is finally doing something. So
hang on to Lukaku for another year.
Yeah.
But again, this could be just rumours or the agents putting feelers out there. But apparently Lukaku's been fishing around Inter Milan again to see like what's the chances of him hooking back up and going back there.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to lose what 40 mil or something if you're Chelsea.
I don't know how that would work contractual, like where how Lukaku forces through a move where he doesn't help some sort of the buy up with numbers that big. Like,
I mean, I just think like if they paid what 97.7 million or something,
something daft like yes,
best part of 100 million. If you're paying 100 million, they're not. I mean, Inter Milan just aren't paying that much money. They're anywhere near it.
No.
Like 60 million maximum. I mean, what can they? I don't even know what they can afford to pay, but I imagine it's not going to be anywhere near. I mean, they have 100 million now because they've got it for love.
Yeah.
So maybe can we have that 100 million? But
based on form, he's not worth it.
No, he's not. He's absolutely not. So that's obviously a factor. I don't know. Do you think how much do you think the not just the takeover but the uncertainty now, because clearly Abramovich is writing off he's written off what £1.5 billion worth of
Debt.
Of just debt, yeah. I don't know how financial fair play. Like I don't know how that is allowed to be a thing. It's just that. I mean, financial fair play must just be unfair play. Because
but is that not debt that's accumulated over years? Because he's been there for what 19 years? Is it 19 seasons?
Still, though, I mean, he's spending 1.5 billion in 20 years. He's got to quid that, isn't it? So, I mean, take Lampard's season. What was it, 220 odd million or something, or 200? I don't know how. It was definitely in the 200s. They bought like Ziyech, they bought Havertz. They were two big money signings. There was like Werner.
Werner.
Werner. He was in the season before. They just bought Pulisic.
Yeah.
There's a couple more.
There's
a couple more that I've missed from that. Chilwell, 50 million for Chilwell. That was a Lampard signing, I think, wasn't it? So, yeah, I think. How much do you think it's affecting the players? Because if he's not putting that much money in, they're not going to be at the top anymore. I think that's just a given. They're not going to be winning titles and having this relentless volume of trophies that they've just been winning under Abramovich. They're not going to do that because they needed a more self-sustained model. Because people are saying, well, whoever's paying X amount of billions to buy the club are going to have money. Yeah, but not many people are going to have money that they just want to chuck at a club like Abramovich has, relentlessly threw money at it.
Yeah.
No one else. People buy clubs for an investment and make money out of, unless you're Abramovich or the Saudis, apparently. So, do you know what I mean? Like, how much is that affecting like some of their players? Like,
it's that argument where the professionals should crack on and be able to perform. But yeah, they are human beings as well at the same time. So it doesn't matter how much money you get paid. There's still that emotion going on in the background as well. So,
and surely every agent will be saying to them, "Hey, do you know if these aren't going to be at the top anymore? You know, these 4 or 5 clubs might be interested. We might be able to get another deal here, and they might be able to line their pockets again with some more money by moving them on." So, like, that'll be in the ears of, because an agent surely wants you to move again to get more money and all that, and everything that goes with the transfer fees that get paid out to agents as well.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, but I do think that a result like that has been coming. I didn't see 4-1 Brentford by any stretch of the imagination.
You better slip it.
Yeah, actually 5-1 Brentford. Pretty disappointing, to be fair. But yeah, Brentford played well. I think the Ericsson, obviously his debut, and I think Tony came back around the same time. And that front three of Brian and Bruno, Tony, and like Ericsson behind is actually pretty decent. Some good goals as well.
Yeah. with Rudiger first of all.
Some good goals, and then that absolute belter.
I know it's so unfortunate when amazing goals don't get are kind of going to get forgotten about because if you're the losing team and it's a game that no Chelsea fans are going to want to talk about, except Rudiger scored this screamer, and it was Chelsea's most long distance goal since 2007.
Really?
Yeah.
It was far out, mate, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm not sure who keeps all these stats because that was I definitely didn't pull that one out of fresh air myself, but yeah, 2007. So
Some straight like.
yeah, Rudiger's definitely playing for his next contract somewhere, isn't he?
He's going to be big money apparently.
Yeah.
But then Janelt scored. His equaliser was a good goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I've written down here Rudiger just added 10 million to his his value. But yeah, Janelt scored one good goal. And then obviously Eriksen got the goal, which everyone's buzzing about.
Yeah.
And
but
then,
with the Eriksen goal, there was some absolute schoolboy defending.
Yeah.
Because if I remember right, there was 2 or 3 Chelsea players tracking back. All 3 of them went to the ball.
Yeah.
And none of them were going to get there first. So rather than just one go at the ball to kind of narrow the angle a little bit, 2 of them could have gone back into the box to actually mark the man which everyone knew the ball was going to go to.
because he didn't hit us, wasn't
Yeah. But all 3 players just got to the ball second.
he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Pua got to concede, and then the Janelt one is like a little sort of through, but it was nice run that the second one. And he chips Mendy from like
Yeah.
sort of tight angle. That was a lovely goal, that. And Visa finishes it off. So yeah.
I don't know if I don't feel like I've realised how good Eriksen was since he's come back. I don't know if it's because I'm paying more attention because I don't want to say the story, but obviously what happened was horrible and come back now everyone's really
invested in doing well.
Yeah, he's almost like everyone's it's your club and Eriksen that you cheer for. So it's amazing seeing him come back, but I just feel like I haven't realised how good he is until I'm seeing passing the ball in half volleys for Brentford. And
I know, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's just so much time in the ball, never wastes a pass. Everything's so. He's one of the players that are technically superbly gifted because he's not blessed with any pace or any real physical attributes that make him. You wouldn't say he's got an amazing engine or or he's physically strong in the ball or he's powerful, great athlete or anything. He's just really, really gifted with the ball at his feet, and he never looks flustered in any way, shape, or form, does he? You never seen flustered on a pitch, and that's always testament to somebody who's just a baller.
So, question for you: Eriksen and Tony, are they going to be playing for Brentford next year?
Eriksen might be because he wants to stay. He wanted to go to London.
Yeah,
that's one of his. And how many? I mean, there's about 400 London clubs to be fair, but how many other London clubs are going to take him away from Brentford? West Ham, maybe, I don't know. But other than that, so yeah, I think Tony would be the one I'd be a bit. I think there'd be some suitors for Tony.
Mm-hmm.
He plays that that. He holds the line really well. He plays that sort of dropping in 10 and linking up as a 10 really, really well. And he's a good player, Tony. No, I think he might be away.
So Eriksen, yes, Tony.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Don't know. That's just to pull it out of nowhere. That's based on that. Nothing.
Well, people
what do you think?
I would have said maybe the other way around because Eriksen's only signed a 6-month contract, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
So if likely he'd go. Other, I agree. London clubs might be because that's where he said he wanted to play.
West Ham.
West Ham would he go back to Tottenham?
Yeah. Right. We didn't. Because he played for Conte, didn't he? At Inter, but he didn't get enough of it. He didn't get an initial run on the side. He did, but he was out of favour, and then through sort of necessity, he played, and then obviously won the title with him, and played really well.
That could be one.
Yeah, maybe.
Chelsea have to save some bucks.
Yeah,
they could end up selling some players, so Eriksen and free could be an option.
Maybe, yeah. They'll certainly put a deal in front of him. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, Brentford. They'll be putting a deal in front of him, no doubt.
Yeah. But then the whole Denmark thing, there's a lot of players there, isn't there? So
and also the loyalty factor. Surely, this is the first club in the Premier League. I mean, there'll probably be more clubs, but they're willing to really put up and say, "Yeah, we want you. Come play for us." Maybe that's gonna. He's probably just enjoying playing football,
Yeah. Spurs 5, Newcastle 1. Yeah, I know. So if you're the first first time listeners listening on YouTube.
Yeah.
Me and Dennis are both Newcastle fans. We run a second podcast called NUFC Talk, where we'll talk about the game in a lot more detail and all things Newcastle. So I'll try and keep this one short, mate, because it's pretty painful, wasn't it? But the second half was. First half, I thought draw was probably a fair result, like at the time.
Yeah, I thought Newcastle started off first couple of minutes, bit of sustained pressure, and then like Spurs kind of grew into the first half and really kind of started dominating the ball. I was surprised. Did you think Newcastle would sort of shape up more like they did against Chelsea, and go more man for man in terms of approach? You know, in Chelsea they played the three at the back and they went with that sort of high line. I know you can't really go the same with the high press. I know it's like difficult to do that maybe with the space for Kane, but I was expecting to see three at the back.
I just think the role that Kane plays, does a midfielder pick him up or does a defender pick him up? It's almost hard to work.
I think with three at the back, it gives you can get more license for one of your centre halves to go with them.
Yeah, but then is any other centre half good enough to keep hold of Kane?
No, that's not. Yeah,
because when Kane and Son turn it on, and them games, they can beat any team.
And I think it's Kulusevski's got an honourable mention as well because he is fitting in and giving them really good balance. Like he's not blessed with like blistering pace, but he's his awareness to when to make runs the same way Son is.
Yeah.
His like and he's that relationship is developing with Kane and Son really really well. I think he got another assist, didn't he, for Son's goal?
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone got an assist, didn't they?
Yeah.
But it was a first half 1-1 sharp, decent free kick. I definitely wasn't expecting him to take that.
Honking from Lloris again though. He is. They need to get a shot of him. Like enough. Like.
You've been banging that drum for a couple of months now. Yeah.
I think he's been passive for a couple of years, but he is showing out. He's consistent. I mean, he's probably an error every like 7-8 games now. That is not good enough at any level in the Premier League, really. But not a top 4 aspiration club.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done, isn't he?
And then they scored the first goal where Newcastle didn't react quick enough for the second phase. And then the second half.
Good cross by Son though, by the way.
Yeah. The second half was just men versus boys with schoolboy defending. The back four was getting pulled all over. There wasn't tracking back like.
It was a throwback to maybe 3 or 4 months ago, wasn't it, Newcastle?
Yeah.
And you look like, oh God, they could go down.
Every goal you could pick like 3 or 4 problems with it, and we won't go into every single goal. If you want to listen, just NUFC Talk, it goes on that pod and that channel. So yeah, it was all in all, it was a terrible second half for Newcastle.
You'd say that picking up some good results in that 10 game unbeaten or 9 game unbeaten is probably going to save, because Everton was a poor game for Newcastle to lose. Chelsea felt you'd be aggrieved that they lost that, but this was an absolute maul.
But then
Spurs are a bit of a. I mean, and I think we had a few people like on Twitter, like Jimmy, who was commenting a lot of things, and said like, they're just a better side with better players, so don't get too upset about it.
Yeah, I'm not like reading too much into it. We played poor. Tottenham played really well, and they've got past this win lose phase, and that's like the third win on the bounce now. Tottenham are really pushing for this 4th place, and Conte is finally getting that winning mentality into them. So,
they do. Sorry, jump in. They do have a striker in Kane who's like got the bit between his teeth again.
Yeah. For
the first time in maybe the last 2 or 3 games he's kind of turned this season on. So it's like it's almost as if he's fresh.
Yeah.
Coming into this running of games because he did so little for the first 15 games of the season. So, and as you say, when they're on it, they are so difficult to play against. So, yeah, do you think they're going to get top 4? I was saying Arsenal, but
I think Tottenham could do it, because Arsenal's got some tough games still to come. So
yeah,
3 wins. Arsenal's had a couple of
shock result that one at Palace.
Palace beating them 3-0 was a bad result, and there was the Arsenal performance in that as well, wasn't it?
We'll just do that game now.
Yeah, just do it now if you want. Palace Arsenal. It was the game kicked off and Palace were at them.
Yeah.
Do you remember back to excuse me, the first game of the season when Brentford played Arsenal on the Friday night,
Yeah.
and Brentford were just at the
Kind of bullied them, didn't they?
Yeah, that's what reminded me of Chelsea. Crystal Palace were just up for it, and they just didn't give them any space to play, and Arsenal looked a bit flustered, and that's where they almost, you could see it was still a team that was growing.
Yeah.
They picked up a couple of injuries in the defence, but then because he started Smith for Roma, and then he was on the bench. There was Odegaard and Saka. You could still, they almost showed the inexperience a little bit, where they just looked flustered and like they made a ton of mistakes, and that's where they needed the likes of Lacazette and Xhaka to stand up and be like the sort of senior pros, and it didn't happen. Fair play to the Palace. Vieira has done an incredible job with them.
Tavares got sort of pulled apart, didn't he, left back for Arsenal. He had a bit of a nightmare, didn't he? And then they put Xhaka at left back after the first half. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it's a blip. I think for Arsenal, I do think. It's a blip. But yeah, I think I would say much probably like the Newcastle defeat. It's not the defeat that is like a massive issue. It's probably the manner of getting pulled apart. That for Newcastle, it felt like a bit of a throwback to maybe 3 months ago when they looked awful and didn't look like they were going to get a result. And then this for Arsenal, it was like a bit of a throwback to maybe is that soft underbelly is still there.
Yeah, it's a good.
Or do you just give credit to Palace because they're a decent side and Vieira, like you say, is doing a good job and they've got some good players?
Both. So well done, Palace. Yeah. Like, because that was a good result for them. But for Arsenal fans, like, I wouldn't be freaking out too much. Like, them results happen. It just still shows why. I thought if Arsenal get top 6, that's a good result for them. Top 4, it's obviously what they're pushing for now, but it's not the end of the world if they don't get it. They probably will be, based on the position they are right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I think it is the end of the world now because they've been in the box seat for the last 2 or 3 games. And if you think 10 games out, if Arsenal had said we're going to be a couple of points clear and probably be the favourites to get top 4 with all the games in hand, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
With 10 games to go, they'd have bitten your hand off to be in that position. But it is North London, It's between those two, innit? Because Man United are...
You never know, even Chelsea could get dragged into it.
Yeah, what are they? How many points are they on?
So they're 59, and you've got Tottenham and Arsenal both on 54. Arsenal and Chelsea both have a game in hand. So potentially, a couple of results either way, and it's wide open.
As if Man United have dropped below West Ham again, like.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just like nobody really fancies. Every time someone gets a little run, you bet like so. Spurs look like they look at your team gathering some momentum, getting form. They've got the best manager for this, you'd probably say, and so the top 4 race, if you like, outside of the top 2 race, really. Although two is a very good manager as well, of course, but it would be so indicative of this top 4 race if Spurs just go lose the next 2 games, and just like can't, no shots on target, and like just play awful, and then
suddenly doesn't touch the ball, stuff like the World Cup or something,
and then Ronaldo scores 2 hat-tricks, and then Man United are back. Everyone's like, Man United are finished top 4. It'll just be. But I think all in all, I probably agree with you. A good performance from Palace and just a bit of a blip for Arsenal.
Yeah. If you want to keep it at the top of the table, mate, should we go to Anfield?
Yeah.
I think we had a couple of straightforward results for Liverpool and City, didn't we?
Yeah.
Liverpool beat Watford 2-0. I watched the game. It was a bit of a nothing game, straightforward. Liverpool 2-0.
Yeah.
Watford had a couple of chances, but I think it just shows the quality. Like they should have done better with it, but it just shows you where they are for that
Kucho
reason.
had a chance, then was it 34 seconds later? I was heading it in.
Yeah.
And it was a good chance. I mean, it is not a simple chance, but it's a good save. I always think when people go 1-on-1 against Alisson, he looks massive, doesn't he? I don't know what it is like. I don't know what's like. I don't know if he is bigger than Mendy or bigger than like Edison or something. But he looks like if I would go 1-on-1 against one goalkeeper, like I think he must be the most difficult to go 1-on-1 against because he just looks. I don't know if it's the hair and everything, the beard just looks a bit, just huge, mate. He's imposing, so good save. And then Gomez.
Do you remember back in the 90s when all the keepers had that like huge baggy shit? I don't know how old you would be, but I remember in the 90s they all had like them the mad checked shirts and like all the crazy designs where it looked like people being
Nice.
sick on them or spilled paint and all like this.
Cerner Check had some absolute shock as they need Newcastle one.
But every club did, but they all had massive baggy shirts, whereas now everyone's like thin.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the idea back then, to have huge like surprisingly like wingspans under them from like the hand to the hip, like
Those Red Bull things.
we're not like Batman.
Keep us flying on the pitch trying to catch the ball. Maybe that's what you need. Throw back to the old days. But I think Jota, how many headers? He's like 4'3".
Yeah.
How does he score so many headers? Like he's really good in the air. His movement's brilliant. That was a decent cross from the fake Trent and Gomez.
Yeah. One thing I do want to say about this game is, I don't know if you saw the post match interview with Roy. So Roy,
Is it the VAR stuff?
yeah. Where, so if anyone hasn't seen it, there's like the 80 odd minute where one of the, I can't remember, one of the Watford players fouls.
I can't remember what the scene was. I just remember the comments about it.
So there's a corner coming in, and this is a terrible announcement, isn't it? So our Watford player fouls a Liverpool player, but like the ball's coming into sort of the front post of the midsection, like the 6-yard box, and in the background there's a Watford player doesn't even face the ball at any point, just takes out, is it Jota or not? Takes out this Liverpool player, arms around him and just charges him back. It is like a rugby tackle.
Yeah.
It's not even the challenge. Oh, it looks like it just is a rugby tackle. Takes the guy out, and the play continues. So VAR pulls up and says, "Look, there's a foul there because you just rugby tackled the player."
Yeah.
And Roy's like, "Oh, no one appealed for it. We were all confused. Nobody knew what it was for. So how can it be given?
Yeah.
That's not what VAR's for."
He says, "I didn't even see it."
He's like, Jurgen didn't click. Like, no one even. He's like, that's what VAR's for. Like
His claim is no one saw it, so just let it go on.
He's like, what's VAR here for? The exact point you're saying it's not there for, Roy. That's what it's there
When
for.
nobody sees it, Roy, it's a foul. That's what VAR means.
Man,
quality.
look, he's had an incredible career. He's managed for a long time, but he's looking a bit tired, isn't he? Like,
Yeah, he is like. But he was interviewed last week before the international break, and he was like, "I've still got the." I think it was a fake Carothers interviewed him, and she was like, "You got hunger for it," and he was like, "Oh, I appreciate you noticing that because I actually definitely started hunger for it, and you can't come and do this job without the hunger for it." I think him not seeing it is unsurprising really though, because he is with 95, so he can't see much, I imagine. But yeah, it's just a standard top of the table versus team gunner for the title versus the team probably going down.
And then next one, Burnley 0, Man City 2. Game was over in was it 20 minutes when City went 2-0 up, and they do what City do best and
boring this game, wasn't it? The way
strangle games and just.
It was boring, man.
I was a bit disappointed in Burnley from what I've seen, from where it just looked like they were going through the motions. There was like none of like the press, like making them hot. Like when you watch a Burnley team, they always make it difficult to try and play against them.
Yeah.
Granted, they lose a lot, so they don't always achieve this. But like it just looked like they were just going to the side of the pitch and tracking the ball over to the side of the pitch and almost just waited for City to score.
I think the second goal kills the game, doesn't it? If they're in the game, 10 minutes to go, 1-0 down, you can start to hump the ball at the pitch and see if you can nick some of it. But that was second goal was like.
I know the first goal was early on, but it just didn't look like they were interested. Look, we're going to get beat here, so there's no point like wasting our energy to save our energy midweek for Everton.
Well, they've got to do some midweek against Everton because their games in hand have been sort of chipping away, and they haven't been picking too many points up.
So I've got some stats for you here.
Go on then.
So, taking the if you want to survive, a lot of people are talking around. It's 34 points. Thereabouts.
That's nuts, isn't it? That 34. It seems so low.
Yeah. So for 34, so if we're looking to get 35 points, Burnley right now need 14 points from 10 games.
It's 1.4 points, so they need to get basically a win every 2 games.
Yeah. So you're looking at 4 or 5 wins. Watford need 13 points.
Yeah.
From 8 games, you're looking at 1.6 per game. So
And how many's Everton got? What? How many?
Everton and Everton.
But Everton are on.
So Everton need 10. So going off 35, Everton would need 10.
But from
10. So a point a game. So Everton would be running at a point a game to survive. Watford are at 1.6, did I say? And Burnley's at 1.4.
Yeah. So I honestly think this is a relegation decider tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Everton win that, they're safe.
Yeah.
Because I think the only team that would catch them could be potentially Burnley, only because they've got games at hand and they need to get some freakish results. Games are running out for Watford. I don't see how they're going to accumulate enough points. But if Burnley would even get like just 3 points from those 2 spare games, they're already above Watford.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the
and only a point behind Everton then.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if they were to beat Everton,
it's such a huge
massive.
game,
So if they beat Everton, they go a point behind Everton.
Yeah.
With
both on 29 games.
So they're both. Yeah, I mean that's big, that, innit?
Mm-hmm.
I mean Norwich. Not even talking about Norwich. No. Like, what's the point of even speaking about them?
Yeah, so we'll review that game now. Brighton should have scored. They didn't. Brighton 0, Norwich 0. Okay.
Yeah, Mopey missed a pen. They got 19 other chances.
Yeah.
Norwich are still honking as they were last week.
Okay, cool. So we've done that one. Continue what we were saying there. So
I think it's big this week, mate. I did like. Do you want to do Everton? Well, so on it, I did like. So obviously, Cresswell's free kick.
So we're doing West Ham 2, Everton 1.
Well, I thought we could go. What game were we doing before, by the way?
This is podcast. It's final team. So we did Burnley 0, Man City 2. We talked about the relegation, and we managed to shoehorn Brighton 0-0 in.
Right, we've done that, yeah. So
and then you were going into Everton. So
yeah, almost Everton. It's segue. It was a nice segue.
There almost was a good segue there till you forgot what we were doing. So yeah, we run a podcast. We talk about Premier League.
I'll tell you what I'll talk about.
Go on then.
Michael Keane is still awful, and he's somehow getting worse.
You know what? When he got red card, his second yellow card. Every time I see Michael Keane make a mistake now, I just think of you and like how much you don't hate him, but just like him as a footballer.
Yeah, I just think he's a bad average.
But what a stupid second yellow.
It was riddled with like that. I mean, they concede a free kick and Cresswell scores a blinder. Then they get back in to the game, and also Richarlison had a few chances as well. It was one like trying to lob the keeper out. It would have been a nice goal if it went in, but it didn't. So, there's something quite satisfying watching Richarlison miss chances.
Yeah,
it's on par with watching Bruno miss chances.
I was like the disappointed face he pulls afterwards. Like, he just looks like the annoyed schoolboy where he has it on his own way.
What do you think is more fun to watch? Richarlison and miss chances, or Bruno when somebody else misses a chance that he sets up, other than Ronaldo, because he wouldn't complain at Ronaldo.
Yeah, you can.
But you know, if Rashford missed a sitter that Bruno puts in the plate for him, it's glorious watching Bruno. I
think if you asked me a year ago, I would have said Bruno. Now I'm thinking Richarlison.
Yeah, it is satisfying.
He's consistently doing it now, and
it's so satisfying. But yeah, and then I mean the Iwobi, that is like for West Ham's second goal, like Iwobi's like touch. I mean it's Keane's pass to Iwobi as well. It's not even Keane's fault, but he just has to be involved. His pass to Iwobi's like mistouched, one ball through, and then that's it. 2-1, and then he gets sent off.
Antonio's bad form sets up Bourne for the goal because Antonio. I was like, finally he's going to break like he hasn't scored for like 2 seasons or whatever. Like finally he's going to break it, and no one puts on a platter for Bourne, who's just come back from injury and gets straight back on it.
Yeah. I was thinking that as well. I was thinking obviously he missed the international break because of injury. But
I didn't know he was back.
No, actually.
I might have put him back in my fantasy team. Like, man.
Yeah, I think he has not a good end of the season, and I think he has to be in with a shout for like going to the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be. But yeah, all in all, Lampard's comments were like he didn't blame the players this time. He just sort of said like, if we keep playing like that, which I was like, what, awful. We're going to go down. No, if we keep playing like that, we're going to, we'll be okay. He said, like, it's not every day that Richarlison's going to miss chances and the player's going to get sent off. I was thinking, well, it is. Or it's not every day that Keane's going to be rubbish and Richarlison's going to be rubbish. But no. But I look out for Lampard's comments.
Well, regarding Everton, I don't want to say too much.
Oh, yeah, your viral, so Glenn viral confronting Everton fans, threw himself.
So on Twitter, I only came on Twitter because you asked us to as well, mate. I've not only tried to stay clear of this cesspit.
And now you're out there with the threats. Illness threats. Well, no, maybe not threats, but hopes at least.
So I put a tweet out there saying, does anyone else want Everton to get relegated? Or is it just me? And I was like, hashtag NUFC fans and like the West Ham Everton signature for that game, the handle. And watched a bit more of the game, picked my phone up and I was like, it's got like 20 likes and this. And I put it down again and all of a sudden like there was a few notifications popping up and I'm like, it's got to 50. Then it's got to 100. And then it just went absolutely mental. And as it stands, there's currently 131,000 impressions on it. 1,700 likes. There was like 6,000 interactions and comments and all this jazz, and that's basically from Everton fans finding this tweet, retweeting it, and more Everton fans just coming on, giving me absolute abuse for I think it's what 3 days now. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah.
The one that just said, "I hope you get the shits." I did appreciate that.
Yeah, there was one telling me to go and find a bird. There was some other ones which you probably can't repeat on here. Yeah, but took quite a lot of offence to that, didn't
I
they?
do hope they go down though.
I do. I put it out there and
yeah,
still getting probably battered for it now as we speak.
I do just for the crack of it. It's just be kind of funny, I think.
I said not meaning too much, but after the abuse for the last 2 days now, I really do hope that they do go down.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, I felt good. I had a viral tweet.
Viral. You are viral.
Leeds 1, Southampton 1.
Ward-Prowse scored.
Yeah.
Free kick. He's good, isn't he? Only Beckham scored more free kicks in the Premier League now than James Ward-Prowse.
What's Ward-Prowse got to do to get an England squad, and who would you take out if you would bring him in?
Maybe he's got to wear shoes like Calvin Phillips. Maybe that gets you in.
Can you imagine walking into the local workman's club of beer in the northeast, wearing them shoes? It just wouldn't go down at all, would it?
Just cutting out the marketplace club in Bedlington, wearing those shoes.
And I just
sticking 20 pence on the pool table, wearing those absolute trotters on your feet.
I
couldn't understand them. I couldn't actually understand them. I thought they were carrier bags.
There's platforms at the bottom with material over the top, so it's like being laced at the top.
I genuinely thought though when I first saw them was some sort of carrier bag, like that scene in Snatch where they go and buy it, where they go to the get the caravan, they walk through the mud and they got I genuinely thought it was like bags on his feet, like.
Nah, it's style, man.
Style, yeah. Well, I don't have that style.
Got you a pair for your birthday.
Oh, brilliant. So yeah, I don't know, mate. I like James Ward-Prowse a lot, but I do only think he's like a mid-table tier Premier League midfielder. He's a really good one.
Yeah.
But I don't think he'll ever really break into that top echelon of like midfielders. I've heard a lot of people talking about what's he got to do to get past like Calvin Phillips. I could argue, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be too upset, but he's not Declan Rice's level or Henderson's level.
But for the type of jobs that Southgate wants midfielders do, he either has them sitting or attacking midfielders, doesn't he? He almost like doesn't have the centre mids.
Yeah, a sort of normal number 8 who does a bit of everything. Yeah.
Yeah, he almost has like I know we call them numbers now. Is like the centre midfield, like a number 4, like
someone who sits. Yeah.
Yeah, like the Henderson role, the Declan Rice, Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
The next was like the 10, like a mount.
I think he probably could do that deeper role. He probably wouldn't break play up as well as Calvin Phillips, but he's certainly he's got a great range of passing. But I do think he's probably suited to like he'd fit really well, like sort of like how Newcastle want that midfield three to
Yeah.
play. Like that, he'd be a great fit in that kind of midfield. But I just don't think he's quite that level. Sometimes I watch him like in games for England. Sometimes I forget he's playing, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But I think in midfield,
he's playing 2 centre. He'll play all the ball around them.
yeah. I just think he's just got to. I don't know. Just doesn't. I think maybe he doesn't put his stamp on games enough. But in terms of Premier League, mid-tier Premier League play, yeah, he'll be an absolute star for like these for as long as he stays there. And he's arguably the best free kick taker the Premier League scene. Arguably,
He'll easily break all records.
yeah, he'll go past. I mean, he needs to score from like 40 yards out, like Lauren Robert, to be up there with the greats in my eyes. But his technique is like outrageous. He's also like kind of folded up, isn't he, when he takes a free kick? Like, so he gets like so sort of bent over. It's like it's all his weight is distributed through just to go through the ball. It's amazing, like. But
Incredible what he does.
good, a decent result for Leeds, I think that as well. Like I think Jesse Marsh is doing a pretty good job, and I think they're comfortably going to stay in the league now.
Their defence is getting better.
Yeah, the offense and the defense. Yeah, they need a peak here though, for my liking. Penalty kick. That's what I want to see.
Wolves 2, Villa 1.
Good result for Wolves. Kind of a Villa sort of performance we've seen. They've seen a couple of them. Newcastle was one. Again, where they just don't show up for half the game. And then Gerrard gives them a bit of a kick in at half time and they come and play better. That's a concern of Gerrard's, that I think. Like this fact that there's inconsistencies, but they're consistently inconsistent.
Yeah, they're consistently inconsistent.
Therefore, they're not inconsistent.
I always think it's difficult for a manager that's wanting to bring in their own stamp of player who doesn't get pre-season, which is what
every manager.
Yeah, every manager right now, based on how people get sacked. So I think you'll see like a different Villa next year next season when Steven Gerrard gets the full transfer summer to bring in the players that he really wants. And
well, he said basically if these players aren't going to play, we'll bring players in that are going to. No, he says something like if these players aren't going to work hard or they're not going to do what we've asked them to do, or words to that effect, we'll bring players in that are. So.
Swinging the axe.
Yeah.
Stevie G.
It does seem that way, but he's like, my standards are my standards. You've got to get to this level or do one, like so. But yeah, poor result really, I think.
And then the last game, mate. Man United 1, Leicester 1.
Yeah.
What do you make of this one?
Awful game, mate. Rubbish game of football. Like.
I listened to it on Talk Sport and then caught the extended highlights, and it's just one of them games where it looks like Man United can't wait for the season to be over. And that's from the fans to the players to the interim manager / sporting director.
Mate, the board, man. Like, if you think of like taking on like Ralph Ragnick, if you think of taking him on, who's like a boardroom specialist, if you like, in terms of football capacity, to take him on as your interim head coach, to see you through with like a view to just him then making decisions to the point that it just screams of like, let's just see this season out and then just start again from next. And that includes players, as you mentioned, like Pogba and stuff, and players that are looking to like, what must players like Varane be thinking, like,
what on earth, like,
why on earth did I come here?
He's almost like tarnished his whole career. He's like won everything.
Yeah,
and all
literally everything.
All of a sudden he's in this Man United team that kind of keep a clean sheet. Like,
I mean, they only got through that by a skin of their teeth, by the way, because that's it. I mean, I think it probably is a foul, but I'm maybe putting my anti-Man United hat on. That's saying like it's harsh. If it's spotted, it's one of them. If it's spotted, fair enough. But if it's not spotted, as it wasn't
obvious,
coming back for VAR, that's where I think.
If that's given against Newcastle, what you're saying?
I'm probably saying, yeah, I don't want to give him.
I know it.
So no, but then if I was to take my Newcastle hat off and say, if it was given referee blows a whistle, yeah, fair enough. I'd probably say, that's fine. But for it to be brought back, it's that big 6 thing again. I don't think Burnley get that. You know, I don't think Burnley get that decision. I don't think like Watford do. I don't think Brighton do.
You're right. And what I really like now, I mentioned a WhatsApp group after the game, as Maddison gave an interview, and he was brutal, and I liked him for it. He's like, we stamped our authority on the game. Man United's press wasn't very good. Their formation they played didn't work very well. And he went on like another few comments. We felt we should have taken more away from the game. Like, you come to Old Trafford and leave disappointed. Like, you haven't won. He basically just said like Man United are shite now.
And that is now two people's comments in and around, because whose comments was it recently? Who was it recently? Was it not Thomas Frank or something?
Oh, it was a manager, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was a manager that came out. Ralph Hasenhüttl? No, I don't know. I can't remember who it was.
You might be right there.
But it was some manager came out and was like, we all know that it was because he said in the reverse transition or something. He said, or basically when they lose the ball,
yeah,
they aren't very good. Which everyone agrees with. So probably even Ragnick.
But it's so funny that for a player to come out like, so yeah, the press wasn't very good, the formation wasn't very good.
Imagine
they didn't know what they were doing.
Can you imagine if say remember the days when like Southampton beat Man United like it was 6-3 or something like that. Imagine like maybe Gordon Stratton or something at the time saying, yeah, basically the press was rubbish. Imagine what Fergie would be smashing them in the media. He'd be like, they'd never get another transfer for 10 years of Man United. That's for a start. But
yeah, you just like block that number.
Yeah. Remember when Fergie said that when he called Newcastle a little club in the north, and then Pardew sort of had a dig back at him in the press, and then Fergie said something like, well, he can sort of forget the favours that I did for him, and his favour was selling us Ulbertan for the same $3 million that he paid for him. It's not much of a favour that made. But yeah, interesting comments. And it was just I thought Man United were bang average again, and De Gea makes another blinding save that sort of keeps them in the game. Fred again, what's he doing? Playing well and scoring goals though.
Yeah, De Gea not getting in the Spanish squad as well.
Did he not?
Nah, the Brentford keeper's just come back from injury.
Sanchez.
No,
Sanchez.
Is that what he's called? Rhea or something?
Oh, Rhea. Sorry, I'm thinking Brighton goalkeeper. Yeah, Rhea. Yeah,
yes.
He's a player. He's a keeper.
He got selected over him.
Interesting. Which is strange because, if anything, De Gea should have been dropped like 2 seasons ago, but in actual fact, this season he's probably been pretty good. Like,
he's probably Man United's best player.
I mean, that save he makes from the header, like, that's a belt of that.
He had to put his hands somewhere.
Aye, and they're like 4 foot away from where he started, which isn't that far because he's like 6 foot tall, but you get the idea. But yeah, all in all, Man United are, like I say, just waiting for the season to end, man.
That's it. Well, we had to get a Man United bashing in there while we can.
Take it, haven't we?
Yeah. Cool. Okay, mate. So, do you want to bash Man United anymore before we finish this episode?
No, that's good, mate. Good to be back. Good to get a pod done again.
It is, mate. Yeah. International breaks. I suppose whilst we're talking internationals, the group for the World Cup.
Yeah.
England, Iran, USA, and one of Scotland, Wales, and Ukraine.
Yeah. Emotionally charged games, all 3 of those potential. The latter.
I know. I think I'd rather play Ukraine out of the 3. I hate playing home nations because that's like their World Cup final playing England, so they're always like mad up for it.
It's true, and Bale, you just don't trust Bale and not do something amazing.
Do you think England's played both of them in recent big competitions, haven't they? When we scored equaliser against Wales late on, and Scotland was a frustrating 0-0 where we went and sandwiched up there. So yeah, I think if I was to pick 3 plus, you know, nodding at the old t-shirt in the back or anything on the pod or over here. For Ukraine, they need something to.
But it'll be an emotionally charged game, that, and it's like if you just think just football in terms, like you could just do with avoiding them games. I think I read somewhere like that average FIFA rankings have England is having the hardest group of the draw.
Is it?
Which I find like baffling, really. But there are Spain and Germany, I think, in the same group. I think Netherlands weren't seeded as well, so like they were a team to avoid.
Yeah, because we could have had a tricky groups on paper.
Yeah, I'd take that.
Yeah, every day.
You should be crudent through that if you're England.
Yeah. But anyway, international football. Stop Premier League for a week. Missed our pod there, so yeah. Anyway, we are back. Enjoy your week, enjoy football, and I'll catch you next week on the Dad FC Football Podcast.